completely diagnosed everything when she had access to it. Your example is a nuke. What is there not to know about a nuke? Somebody who understands
Mai was
technology,
built
and
specifically
weapons,
Earth
and
to
science,
put
they
them
can
in
build a
movies for
fucking
that one
tank.
episode.
You see, the
You're
thing is, you're trying to
okay.
find.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're trying to find justifications of why these characters wouldn't work in this day and age. We're not talking about that. We're just saying you can make them part of the story by adding certain
As what?
elements like that. Certain elements like that. It doesn't have to be a big threat, like fucking world-ending event.
Like
Well,
Because
when you
life
talk about
and
relevancy, that's all that there is to the setting now. Aside from a few moments of slice of life, that's all that there is. Is nothing
yeah,
but world-ending nonsense
Reggie,
all the time.
are you purely just talking about stuff that happened in Super, or what could happen later if they decide, well, when they decide to continue Dragon Ball in itself?
I'm just talking. You guys are talking about current Dragon Ball, which is currently Super.
No, we're talking about
So
beyond that. We're talking about, okay, well, they lost the relevancy here. We cannot change what's happened, but for when they do continue stuff, we would like to see more of the side characters.
yeah, and you're citing stuff like, oh well, Krillin can beam struggle with Super Saiyan Blue Goku.
Yeah.
17 can actually fight on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. They should bring back Launch. They should bring back Videl.
But no,
They should
wait.
bring like
Launch was
what
a
are they
different
going
situation.
to when
We're not. Launch was never a
no
side
no when you pull up context like that and then say they should do the same thing with this. That's exactly what you're saying. They should be relevant like that, and that's
Yajirobe
not
was in
happening.
the Goku Black arc. He was very helpful.
Like, look at Mai.
exactly.
Yeah, look at Mai. She's not like a super powerful person, but she had relevancy for that.
Yeah,
That's two non-powerful characters, very relevant to one arc.
yeah. But here's the the pacing of that was all weird. I did like that. I did. They should have more stuff like that.
That's perfect.
But
All I'm thinking is, what are they going to do with that?
But here's the thing, Reggie. I'm pretty sure before Super did it, you probably, if we would have told you Mai would be a good side character to have for Dragon Ball,
I
you'd
would
be
have
like,
told you you're fucking crazy.
exactly. But they did this, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah?
throw the rules out. Dragon Ball is what you make of it, essentially. And if
No. I mean, Dragon Ball seems kind of a corporate now. I don't know.
that's kind of what I'm getting at now. Like, whatever the fans are pretty much asking for, which at this point a lot of people are sick and tired of Goku time, really. Like, you see that from
You've
practically
been
all of
sick
them.
of Goku time for literally 30 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When they eventually get to that, we want to see the side characters that these guys have made have some relevancy in all that stuff. We want them to do something cool, Have all
I
these
think they should
legendary.
just make a new show.
Actually, that wouldn't be so bad.
If you want to
Like,
make
They
it,
got a
off of the actual slice of life part.
yeah.
I,
like
I took that as like get a different show essentially to watch. And like, well, I mean,
yeah,
like, but it won't have
no, I
those
mean, like
characters I like.
the creators should just make something else.
But okay, explodes in Jose, because it feels like we're having a kind of. I like the discussion. Don't take what I'm saying as
I mean,
bad.
you're
Okay?
all three of you are trying to debate me on this, and I'm just like, I just tell you guys that what you're saying as the way that I'm interpreting it does not work. Well, telling you guys it does not work, and you keep telling me it does or it
They
can.
have made
Like,
it work
I'm
with
saying I'm arguing
Yajirobe
it
and
can.
Mai.
Listen up.
well, some of you are saying it does. I'm just like, no, it doesn't.
Okay, Jose, you go first, then explodes, and then I will say what I have to say. What are you arguing for at this point?
For me, all I'm arguing for, to be honest, is just that they need to cut down in the main plots and do a little bit more of the side plots. You know how Dragon Ball had those small
That's
little
perfect.
moments of just Goku being a kid.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I want, but with the rest of the characters.
that would
Have
be
each
nice. Yeah.
one of them. Have each one of them. Have their own little adventure, a little bit like that. Like have Gohan.
Looks like he finally had
Instead of when he goes to a meeting, he gets lost and ends up helping some little kids. giving him this motivation of him, be so that way he can be like, hey, you know what? I'm not just fighting for my daughter and my wife. I'm fighting for these people, these kids that are lost, or just have Videl, or have Videl just have a moment of her just be her again. Stop
Put
a
on the
bank robbery.
costume.
Stop a bank robbery with her costume. Things like that. Have characters that are obscured, like that you consider relevant, like Lunt. Make a little small comeback. Have her have her interact with Tien or whoever. That's what I'm asking for. Because for me, I'm getting just sick of always having the same fucking episodes have Beerus, Whis, Vegeta, and Goku. Since the Goku Black arc, I have not stopped seeing those four fucking people all the time, and it's getting annoying as hell. That is what makes me not want to watch Dragon Ball Super anymore.
Mhm.
It's just annoying. I just want that little bits of them doing, giving each character, little small moments. Doesn't have to be these giant ass events. It's just little small episodes of them
Slice of
just
life.
doing, slice of life with them.
Yeah,
That's
And
all I
even
am.
then, during the Black Arc, there was attempts to add other characters.
and that is fine. Slice
They
of life
can
is fine.
they can do that even during the non-slice of life moments, but they just gotta find the right situation. Like that was
Exactly.
basically a war against God.
Yeah, you.
I'm assuming Explode. You're going next in terms of what you got to say.
Yeah,
Okay.
they gotta find better situations than just like, oh, you have to punch this guy really hard to win. They gotta do something more strategic, like they did with Black.
Speaking of black. Okay, are you done?
Yeah,
Okay, so okay. I need to pause in order for me to actually say what I want to say here because we're at Boo, and I'm okay with skipping over Boo because it seems like we're having an all-encompassing conversation about this. But like I'm pretty much in the same boat with of Jose, with a little bit extra. I may be asking for too much, but you can go ahead and say what you have to say after I'm done, Reggie. But I agree. I want these characters that we pretty much, when they introduce them, we weren't attached to, like Yamcha, the Tien, like Tien, poor Tien, like
Mhm.
he's the straight man, big time, and we want to see
and
more
we're
of what he
probably
can
never
do.
gonna see him again.
Yeah, and like we want to see these characters, or I want to see these characters in scenarios where they don't need to be bailed out by all-powerful Goku. Like in the same essence of how Jose said, put the character A in a scenario where they need to solve the problem instead of calling Goku or calling Monopoly Bulma to solve their problems with money. Like not every character lives with Bulma. So in this case, like I want to say this at least now, like Videl, you put Videl in a situation where she needs to solve the problem herself. Let's say random plot thread, she goes to her and Gohan step out, and they have this random babysitter who ends up turning evil. Videl comes back and she has to fight this babysitter. It's not a world-ending thing, but she could have a threat that she can reasonably take down herself, or at least do some of the damage that requires her to be fighting again, which again was her endearing characteristic. Whoa, what was that? Uh-oh. Did we
Jose,
lose Jose? Did Jose go into...
No, I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, that was coming from your side. All right. You have
That was a phone vibrating.
have a certain scenario where you could have these side characters shine and give them new moves that you would be like, oh man, it's that one move. Vegeta and the Final Flash. Those are iconic. Give us a reason to like have these characters be shiny again. Don't just have them overshadow all the time. Now I meme all the time with you, Reggie, in terms of, oh yeah, have Videl be like OP. Like no, I don't honestly feel that way as much as I meme about it. But in a case like, put her in a plot if you want to. Like with Mai, she was all powerful, but she was doing things to move the plot along without her being as strong as Goku and Vegeta. Have the great Saiyaman duo be there to buy time. Do you guys remember when the Dragon Ball fighters have to fight cronies to get to the bad guy? Throw in cronies to have these characters shine. That not like the Frieza Force because they're just waffle stop. On the same
Even the Janemba movie did that with Hercule.
yeah. So like you look at and I think the oldest tried and true example would be King Piccolo's henchmen. Like they were formidable in their own right, but they gave the characters that were not quote unquote main characters a chance for them to battle
Yeah.
and have a threat to overcome. Who's to say? Maybe you have this world.
Well, I like Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin.
Maybe you have this world-ending entity that Goku and Vegeta need to fight, but they can't fight these guys properly because their henchmen are getting in the way. Okay, you can bring relevancy to some of the side characters. Bring in Tien to be that guy that counters that guy. Bring in Yamcha to maybe counter this other guy. Like give them give them something to do that will more or less add to it. When Vegeta was outclassed by Cell, what did he do? He shot at Cell with one ki blast, distracting him, giving him enough time for Gohan to pull through with the beam struggle. He was nowhere near the strength of Gohan, but he contributed. So like stuff like that, that's kind of where I'm coming from in terms of having characters come back who are kind of forgotten in the series. They have so many good characters, but there was so much missed opportunity to use them in a way that tells a good compelling story. Because it's like whenever they forget a character, they make a new one, and then that one quickly gets forgotten again. And I think you guys can agree with me on that.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up something when you said that. Just look at General Tao.
He was cool.
Yeah.
He was extremely cool, and he's still around.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
And the thing is, but like, when have we seen him?
When Gohan became a Super Saiyan.
That was killer.
But
I mean, that's still the last time we saw him, so.
Yeah, no, but like, come on,
last time we saw him was when he was changed by Tien and walked away with his brother, who we hadn't seen after that.
Yeah, that was all the way back in Dragon Ball.
Why wasn't he there in the filler too? The Crane Master.
Because nobody really liked him, apparently.
You see, but that's my point, though. It's what he's saying. It's just those little bits of characters that we enjoyed as kids. I mean, fuck it. My favorite character was General Blue, the gay psychic man. Just the whole interaction of him and Bulma was just fucking hilarious. It's those little bits that I fucking enjoy. But like now with go for it, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say, by no means am I talking about bringing dead villains back to life all nonchalantly. Like if they're dead, keep them dead.
Exactly.
Okay, well, as far as what you're saying, it's basically what we all generally say about Dragon Ball as a whole, which is we enjoy the slice of life moments a lot more than the serious moments, because the serious moments all kind of suck. The slice of life is Dragon Ball being just Dragon. To bring back, side characters and non-characters and stuff like that, yeah, sure, that's fine. Give us a more slice of life. When you start off by framing it under the context of Krillin is now as powerful as Goku because he did a beam struggle. 17 is now as powerful as Goku because they sparred. They should bring back this character too. That immediately makes it sound like you're saying they should make them just as relevant as these guys for actual plot. And I was like, no, that just doesn't work. I'd be making the problem that I already have with it significantly worse by having absolutely no logic to it. Which is why I was telling you, no, that's not going to happen. That's not where it's focused at. But if you're just saying slice of life, have moments where the characters are just being characters, by all means, yeah. You love the slice of life in Dragon Ball.
Or a villain that is more than just punch him.
Destroy. Ha 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 ha. I am evil. Destroy.
Or like to beat, you just punch him hard. Like, get strategy that might involve someone else being a distraction.
Yeah, like the
Having
first fight against Vegeta, that was great. It was gritty.
yeah,
The fight against Frieza, gritty.
Like imagine
Everything
this.
after that,
Oh, good.
it's just power levels.
Exactly.
Everything is power levels.
Here's a fun idea. Goku and Vegeta are training in Beerus planet, all right? And a threat happens to go there, but they're forced to stay put. So what do you do? Who would end up defending Earth at that point? I mean, you could have a lot of you could have a villain that probably is not even close to as strong as a Beerus level threat, but like maybe be enough to be a problem for like Gohan or what would be another character that Piccolo, you know, have a Piccolo and Gohan moment where they take down this bad guy together while Goku's away, you know, there something like that. Wouldn't that be cool? Instead of Gohan always getting the shaft when a new villain shows up
I don't know.
and and then
I
just
don't
being the
know.
measuring stick for how
They
strong he is.
Gohan's been so mistreated. I just kind of don't want them to do worse with him.
why do you have
Like
those
just
one those two filler episodes that were just beautiful?
Yeah, it just showed how great of a
And
wife
technically,
Videl
those
is.
are canon because they were in the anime made first.
For as much as complaining as I have over Videl not fighting, that episode where the scumbag was trying to frame Gohan for cheating on her, I was like, oh man, that is like not Chi Chi. That's like not Chi Chi reaction right there. If that would have been given to Chi Chi, she would have believed it.
Oh my god, dude, that shit was fun.
But since we apparently already skipped over the
Oh,
Boo
hi, Bardock.
saga in this game already, I'm just gonna say it right now because I said I was gonna say it originally. Yeah, Videl's my favorite character in Dragon Ball. At me, Reggie. But uh,
don't judge.
for absolute my main history when it comes to this, I'm gonna talk over this Beerus fighting Goku battle here. But my main history with the character it just stems back all the way to Raging Blast 2. Like Raging Blast 2 was my first quote unquote official Dragon Ball fighting game and that was before Super came out. So when back in the day when my old set of friends were playing the game, they were like, oh man, I could beat you with like Yamcha because Yamcha was the meme. That was like starting with the memes with the TFS with Yamcha fails at everything. So we used that as a measuring stick, and then we started saying, "Oh, I'll beat you with the Doria, yada yada." It went down the line, and so then I remember saying, "Well, I can beat you with Videl," because everybody just kind of discounted her as, "Oh yeah, what about that character? That character isn't Goku or Vegeta." So I was like, okay, so she's weak, she's a girl, and young me and the
No
guys were
key
like,
blast either, if I remember correctly.
"Huh? What?
She usually does. They just usually suck.
Wait, what?"
She
Key blast.
usually does. They
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
usually suck. They go like 5 feet and then.
And they phase out. Yeah. So like I threw that as my oh yeah I'm gonna beat you guys I'm that good at the game, but then eventually when I bought that game by myself I started playing with the character more often. I started liking the character and I was like let me watch the show again to see kind of what I'm missing. And with my older set of eyes I was like you know what she's actually pretty cool. Why didn't I see that originally when I first played when I first watched the show? It's because really young teenage Mark did not really focus on those things. He was more focused on the strong Goku and Vegeta fighting. So like
Oh,
looking
you
at
missed her breaking you guys' neck.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is that when I looked at her characters, like, man, she is cool for being a girl. And she was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, she's my favorite character now because she does something that Goku and Vegeta cannot do, and it's have a little bit more personality to the character. And the fact that my entire gimmick with her is that she had absolutely no relevant stuff after her inclusion. So I wanted to make her in fighting games kind of be like, oh, it's that character that nobody likes, so I'm gonna go ahead and remind people that she exists and I could still beat Goku's strongest form with her, etc., etc., etc. And that's just kind of
All right,
where I put my foot with Videl. She just kind of became that, and
And that
yeah.
And now
I'll be
here
right
she
back.
is beating up this guy.
Oh, what's Popovich? Was Popovich?
No, Tua.
Looks like we lost the other dude.
Oh, he said he's gonna be right
Mira.
back. He had to
Oh,
go do some
okay.
other tasks, but he'll be back. But yeah, that's kind of my backstory with the whole deal with Videl in itself. I'm aware she has absolutely no business fighting on the League of Goku and Vegeta and the Gods of Destruction. I get that, but it was always a cool thing for me to see a pretty much a girl be fighting in a show that has been historically with dudes doing all these awesome stuff. Where when you look at Chi Chi as an example, where she just completely said she just wanted to be a mom. Respect for that. But like this character, she was like, oh, I wanted to fight not because I want this character to marry me and notice me, but like just because that's what I want to do. And that's in my opinion is what I thought was cool about her. And the fact that she was willing to go ahead and die just so she wouldn't stop fighting was also cool too.
You're certainly nothing to write home about. Are you feeling okay?
Mm-hmm.
I could go on for hours on that, but that's pretty much the reasoning for it. So, you know, what about you, Exposed? You probably more than anyone I know probably knows about how much an attachment I have over the character.
I don't think I can add anything to that without it sounding dirty.
Oh,
All right, I'm tired.
don't take that out of context, Reggie. Don't take it out of context.
Take it very
I'm
out of
not
context.
laughing.
To destroy you all right now.
Well, I guess to humor me, Reggie, like, what's your opinion on the character since we're pretty much gonna be ending the game pretty soon?
Videl's fine. I don't have a problem with her. I liked her when she was introduced. I liked that bit. I liked that she and Gohan had something to do. I liked her fight against Popovich and whatnot.
Oh my! It's
But like,
and a heaping
as far as
too.
just well, I don't like that she she's not like the character that she was before, where all she wants is to be a mom now instead of be a fighter. Like, keep in mind that she's currently
Okay,
this,
no more fighting now.
and that character motivations can change.
Hey, could I have one of those?
I get that,
So,
but the problem with go ahead.
You want one too?
well, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing as like when I look at what's it, Star Wars, right? Let's just go with something else big and popular. Like, you're looking at Videl the way most fans are looking at Luke. And to be honest, I'm not as salty about the whole Luke thing anymore. I watched that and I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it. And I was just like, okay, well, this is what we have now. Kind of the same thing with Videl, at least for the way that you're looking at it.
Well, the
Like,
difference.
you're like, oh no, she is this specific way. That should be how it is. And suddenly, new continuity with the same creators. With the new creators rather, say, no, it's actually like this.
Would you say that's kind of how it is with the Final Fantasy remake?
No, wow.
Would you say that's the same? That's not me. That's Exploded.
I know, but that still hurt my ears. But, okay.
Sorry.
So the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Yeah.
No. Final Fantasy VII remake is a fucking sequel.
Exactly. So it continues things, but it changes some of the things that you say this is how it should be, but it's not.
Yeah.
I actually found an animated video parody on that.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it.
But yeah. 7 remake is a sequel. It is a out and out actual sequel. So the things that are there that are different for an actual specific reason. And that is fine if there's actual intent behind it. Whereas if you're looking at, back to the example of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, right? The most hopeful person in the galaxy, was capable of a little bit of faith capable of turning the most evil, despicable man in the galaxy, his father, back to the good person that he was at heart, out of the love for his family, turn into I'm a bitter, grizzled old man, living as a hermit because I tried to kill my nephew. Oh, I suspected he might have been evil. It might be. I was like, what? Did I just lose connection?
No, you're still here.
No,
I think I just lost connection.
he's not perfect, and he barely knew him.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but at the same time, like when, okay, the reason why Jose I'm just gonna speak for Jose. Hopefully, he doesn't kill me for saying one thing wrong here. But
All right, there we go. Okay, connection dipped out for a moment while I was still talking. There we go.
the big reason why we feel so specific about that character is because her character in the entirety of that arc that she was introduced in was primarily meant to say, okay, well, we have our female that can fight that isn't 18, who is in herself her own type of character.
Yeah,
They introduced a female that could fight that was also going to be a love interest for another character that can fight. So why can't you have both
yeah,
of them fight instead of having the Chi Chi and Goku dynamic, where Chi Chi didn't really go into fighting to fight to begin with. She fought so she could go see Goku and get married. That's already been established at that point. So
yeah,
when you have a character like Videl who's like, okay, I like to fight because it's something my dad has done and I've trained, he's trained me essentially, and I want to be the best I can. Then you zoom into Super, which okay, I know Explodes. You said, well, she just had a kid. Yeah, you can only just so have a kid for so long. Okay, Pan
Well,
is already what 1 year old in canon. So like, okay, doesn't this
She
show?
is a superpowered
honestly,
baby, and you expect them to just find a babysitter.
I'm not sure
Not,
why
She
you're
flew
here.
around the
I
For all
world.
the help.
bro,
I really
don't forget
appreciate
okay.
it.
Beerus. Don't forget Beerus. Look what they did with Beerus.
Yes,
All right,
yes, and he is a
before
good
you go
friend
on
of
with that,
ours.
I do want to point out that maybe it's similar to the Yamcha thing, except less graphic. She did get introduced into the series back when who was a thing who casually destroys planets.
Yes.
Great work out there.
He was
Uh,
actually introduced before that because they were trying to steer it towards Gohan.
I I I basically grouped that whole thing all as one.
We really cut that one
But
close.
okay, fine. If you want to be more specific about it,
Cooking.
that doesn't change the fact that she was still introduced at a point in the story and in the overall narrative of that setting when the current threats to the setting itself were casually destroying planets and capable of destroying galaxies with a flick of their wrist. Uh, Yamcha
Come on.
decided to
It
quit
wasn't that
fighting
bad. Things
just
could have
an
gone a
arc
lot
before
worse
that
without my
because he
pushing.
got impaled and basically died for a second or third time, second time, right?
Yeah.
It'll definitely try something.
And he was like, you know what?
What will they
That shit's
try this
traumatizing.
time?
I'm gonna stop. I've noticed that I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not providing change. I'm not providing help. I'm just a liability. I'm getting hurt. It's not like it's no longer fun, and I see my limit. Good chance that Videl probably just thought about what happened in the arc that she was involved in, and decided, you know what? Yeah, I don't need to fight.
That's weird. There's a chance
It's
There's a
simple
chance that
fun.
that could have been the case. I mean, granted, there hasn't been anything said, but like the possibility to
It's what they're
construe.
really after.
But she
All
likes
right,
But
to
to
so
fight
what?
and
just
have
Separated by
fun.
fixing this
just say that
mystery.
that shouldn't be the case because she was introduced in a specific way. Like you know, everybody else was introduced in a specific way also, and look where they are.
I will argue the fact that Yamcha was always meant to be the joke. which would make sense. Why he
Yamcha
would
was
stop.
the jobber. He was specifically the jobber.
Yeah, so but the difference with him and Videl though is the fact that her entire character was that she was a girl that could fight, and that she
He
wanted.
was spunky.
Yeah, she was spunky. She wanted to. She wanted to, at the point in time before noticing all this stuff happen, to push her limits.
Yeah.
And even protect the city.
Yeah, and protect the city. That was one of the other things there. But when like I said earlier with Super, when they made that one line where they pretty much just essentially lie and say that she wasn't really into that fighting stuff like your dad. It's kind of like, no, that's a lie.
I mean, I see your problem with it. Yeah.
And
If they just didn't have the line, you probably wouldn't give a shit.
Forgot.
But like, in all honesty, like, do you expect anything really good, consistent from these writers?
We gotta remember, Toriyama is known to forget.
Exactly. And also, he's basically just turning Videl into Chi 2.0.